Next up, we will turn our attention to Notre Dame and Coach Marcus Freeman, who brings the Irish to their 6th Fiesta Bowl, including the 1989 championship game that they won over West Virginia. The team is 11-1 this year. Their first season in the first game for Coach Freeman, who served as the defensive coordinator and led the Irish to the 9th ranked scoring defense in the country at 18 points per game. Interesting fact about Coach Freeman is that he played in the Fiesta Bowl in 2019 with Ohio State as an undergraduate. He had 8 tackles in the game. Would have played in the 2006 Fiesta Bowl, ironically against Notre Dame as a member of Ohio State, but unfortunately missed the game due to injury. So Coach, welcome. We're going to ask you to make an opening statement about your recent touchdown here in Arizona and your excitement for the 2021 PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Coach Marcus Freeman.
Well, let's clear one thing up. It wasn't 2019. It was the 2009 Fiesta Bowl. I'm not that young.
My bad, Coach.
Although it feels like yesterday, it was a great experience. So this will be my 4th Fiesta Bowl. Obviously as a coach, this will be my first as a coach, but 2006, we played Notre Dame. I was not a part of that, but I was here with the team. 2007 was a national championship game, and then 2009 in the Fiesta Bowl. And so I can't tell you how excited I am to be back down here in Scottsdale, Phoenix, Arizona. And we just touched down not maybe 30 minutes ago. And what a beautiful city, what a beautiful environment. And we're an excited football team for this opportunity to play a really, really good Oklahoma State team.
Thank you, Coach, and sorry about that foible. I know a lot's been made of your age recently. I didn't mean to add on to that. We're going to start with Hallie Hart from the Stillwater News. Hallie.
Hi, Coach Freeman. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. I was going to ask, as someone with a background as a defensive coordinator, what stands out to you most about OSU's defense this season?
Well, I was on the plane for about 4 hours and tried to watch as much film as I could. And I'm so impressed with how hard they play from every position, but especially their front 4. They play extremely hard. They're relentless, and they tackle and they pursue to the ball well. And so it's going to be a huge challenge. And the challenge isn't going to be schematically. It's going to be to match their intensity and their the physicality they play with.
All right, let's go. Oh, Hallie, do you have a follow-up? Okay, Eli from the Tulsa World.
Hey, Marcus. With your safeties in the backs this year, Kyle was sidelined, and then you had a couple guys convert to the position, but that group came together. I guess from where you were sitting as the coordinator up until this point, how did you see that group develop?
Well, it's been a growing experience, and it's been really good for us as we move forward to the future. And in terms of, we did not have a plan right away to replace Kyle Hamilton. I think we wanted to do some different things schematically with those games, the end of USC, the North Carolina games, and for what those offenses presented. But it was something where we were able to move some guys that maybe didn't have as much experience in Ramon Henderson, and we're able to kind of get these guys some game reps, and we're able to, utilize Houston Griffin and utilize DJ Brown. And the biggest thing I think what we had to do is put these guys in positions to be successful. We weren't going to replace Kyle Hamilton, but we did need to replace the production. We need to replace what that position entailed in our defense. And so it's been a great situation for Ramon to get those reps and to, show that he could be a safety to help us here in the future.
Eli, you're all good? Okay, we'll go to Garen Emig from the Tulsa World. Garen?
Thanks. Marcus, happy holidays to you, sir.
Thank you. Same to you.
Very cool. When people talk about Notre Dame football, it's a brand that sort of, tells its own story. Mike was just talking about it on his version of the teleconference a bit ago. I'm curious from your perspective, what you think of when someone mentions Oklahoma State football to you. Is it someone like Coach Gundy with his longevity there? Is it, is it color scheme, uniforms? What comes to mind when you think about OSU?
Oh, I think it's a program that every year is in contention to win the Big 12 championship and make a playoff run. I think what you've seen over the past 10, 15 years throughout the time Coach Gundy has been there is a team that just every year is pushing to win that championship. And that is a very explosive offense. And now you incorporate a defense that plays extremely hard and is one of the best in the country. And this is a program that can present problems for any team. And so we know the challenge. We respect this opponent, and we're going to have to prepare to try to make sure we're successful on Saturday.
You know Coach Gundy at all by any chance?
I don't. This will be the first time I get a chance to meet him. I'm looking forward to it.
Very cool. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we'll go to Aiden Thomas from The Observer. Aiden, you're on for Coach Freeman.
Hey, Marcus, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Doing well. So just two questions for you. One, I was hoping you could talk a little bit about, I saw Blake Fisher's listed as a starter at right tackle for this game. And is he on any limitations, and how has his health progressed?
Well, I didn't know going into bowl practice if he was going to be able to play, and he's gotten to the point where he's ready to play and ready to help us. And so we obviously know what type of talent Blake is. Obviously being the starters, we went into the Florida State game. And so, with the loss of Lug during bowl practice, this is something that kind of naturally happened. And so we wanted to put him on the right side for a few reasons. One, Joe Old has done an unbelievable job as our left tackle and has done been a huge asset to our offensive line throughout the course of this year. And then, the ability to kind of not have three moving pieces, right? Instead of moving Blake to left tackle, Joe to right tackle, instead of just leave Joe where he's done a great job and where he's excelled at, move Blake right into that right tackle spot. And, we're extremely excited about having both of those guys on the field.
And then just to follow up, do you have any feel for what the share of running back snaps is going to look like between Tyree, Diggs, and maybe Esteem as well?
Yeah, it's going to be a running back show by committee, and all of them are going to have to play. I think they've all shown the ability to be productive, and I'm excited for those guys to get the carries, to go out there and show what they can do in a big, huge, obviously national televised game.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yep.
All right, let's go to Angelo DiCarlo. Angelo, you're on deck for Coach Freeman.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on making the trip down there. Can you just give us an update on the protocols that you guys have put in place to be ready for the game, first of all?
Yeah, to me, we're just continue to following the protocols that we've had. And that I think the biggest thing now is just the awareness, like, hey, this thing is real and it's realer than it's ever been. And so we have to be smart in terms of what we're doing out here in Arizona, wearing our masks when we are supposed to, and being really, really smart about the people we're around. You cannot come down here and just go out and hang out and treat this like a normal bowl trip. We have to be really smart. And, I think our team is definitely understanding the case and understanding what we have to do.
Are you doing any additional testing right now because of obviously being separated and all coming together, obviously not knowing if there might be some guys that might test positive?
Yeah, we're going to lean on, our doctors and what we've done in terms of, hey, if you're symptomatic and you show symptoms, we'll test you. If you're vaccinated, if you're non-vaccinated, we'll continue with our weekly testing.
Next question, we'll go to Chris Heidel from Herb FM Radio.
Hey, Coach Freeman, thanks for taking my question, and congratulations on winning, being the coach for Notre Dame.
Thank you.
Question: you played in the Fiesta Bowl as a player, when you were with Ohio State. Is that, are you going to try to use some of that stuff that you learned in those games as a coach in this game coming up on Friday?
I haven't thought too deeply about it, but I think there's some ways you could spin it. There's some ways that, understanding the magnitude of this bowl game and how big this is, and embracing that. I want our guys to embrace this opportunity, embrace what this Fiesta Bowl championship will bring to the University of Notre Dame. And I'm excited. I want our guys to be excited, and I know they will be. But it's still going to come down to execution. It's still going to come down to taking care of football, taking the ball away. It's going to come down to being able to stop the run and run the ball. And so those are the field position. Those are the things that really are going to matter. But I want them to embrace this opportunity, understand how big this game is, and to still make sure they understand the keys to having success.
Mike Hutton from Irish Breakdown. You're up for Coach Freeman.
Hello, can you hear me now?
We're all good, Mike.
Okay, yeah. Can you clarify the injury to Josh Slug, when it happened, what happened?
Yeah, it was we're in an 11-on-11 situation, and he kind of just planted the wrong way. It is a minor meniscus tear, but he's had it for a while, and I think when he planted it, kind of flipped the meniscus a little bit more, where, you know what, we said, hey, we're going to have to get this thing fixed right away. And so he's had it throughout the season, and he's been able to fight through it. And then I think just when he planted the wrong way, I think a part of that meniscus flipped up, and they had to go and clean it right away.
Mike, did you have a follow-up?
I did. So did this happen last week, or when did it?
It was our first week of bowl practice. So yeah, I would say probably maybe last Monday, right around there. And a lot of stuff has gone on since then, but it was in the early practices.
Thank you. If you do have a question for Coach Freeman, please use the raise your hand function and we'll get you called on. Otherwise, we'll move on and let Coach get ready here for his team's preparations throughout the week. Looks like Todd Burlage from the Blue and Gold Illustrated is having some microphone issues, Coach, and he's asking, how are you handling this 3-week whirlwind that you've been under here? And congratulations on that whirlwind.
Oh, thank you. Day by day, day by day, task by task. And so I was telling, somebody earlier today, just when you think about it in terms of how many things you have to do as the head coach at the University of Notre Dame, sometimes it can get overwhelming. But if you attack things day by day, minute by minute, task by task, you just knock it out. Don't put things off. Whatever situation presents itself, you complete that task, and then you move on to the next one. And at the same time, you got to find a way to have this time management where you can prepare. You can prepare yourself. You can prepare your team to have success this upcoming Saturday. And so I'm enjoying it. Listen, I would much rather be in the seat than not be in the seat. But I've just taken it day by day and task by task.
Thanks, Coach. We'll go to Brian Driscoll. Brian.
Coach, you've had to play a lot of young guys this year, especially in the freshman class. And looking at the 2 deep, there's a lot of guys listed. Can you just kind of talk about the development you've seen in these bowl practices from guys like Ryan Barnes and Prince Colley and Will Schweitzer, all the type of guys that have kind of been moved up as different injuries and different things have happened over the last couple months?
Absolutely, Brian. I think my mindset going into this bowl, the first couple practices, maybe the first 6 practices was, hey, we're doing all good on good. We're doing one-on-one, ones versus ones or ones versus twos, but we're not worried about preparing for Oklahoma State right now in terms of scheme. I want to make sure we develop our guys. And so at the end of those practices, we also had basics, which meant anybody that wasn't in the 2 deep are getting reps, right? We're going to scrimmage with the young guys. And so we continued that basics is what we call it. Those scrimmages throughout bowl practice, even as we started preparing more for Oklahoma State. And so I think you've seen development, right? I know Prince Colley has been running with the 2s and Ryan Barnes is getting some 2 reps. But all those guys, even if they're with the 2s or 3s, they've been getting reps. And so we're trying to develop those guys, but we're also trying to get the 1s and 2s better, right? And we got to make sure that this group is competitive and is ready to take on this huge challenge that we have this Saturday. And so there's been great development of the young guys, but also to me, development of the 1s and 2s.
Angela, go ahead.
Coach, just one follow-up on defensive play calling. Have you decided what you guys will do there, and also maybe of your defensive coaches who will be upstairs and on the field?
Yeah, we will still Nick Lazinski will come down because he's had a more active role with the linebackers. So we activated him from the senior analyst position to the linebackers and special teams. So he'll come down. We'll still leave O'Leary up. Elston and Mickens have been down. They'll stay down. And so, all year as I lead, I've always been a leader as a teammate. And so it's been a collective group effort in terms of game planning, in terms of, hey, what do you guys think on this next 3rd down? At some point, somebody has to call it. And that's what I've done, obviously, being a defensive coordinator. But right now, the plan is for Elston to have a lead role, Mike Elston, to have a lead role in terms of who's making the majority of the calls on game day. Now, we're going to work hand in hand like we've done all year. I'm going to be right there with them. We're going to go back and forth and be able to throw ideas off of each other. But the game plan, we've game planned as a group. We've kind of put the game plan in as a group, but he'll be the one on Saturday making the majority of the calls. But again, I think it's best for the group because of he's had more time, and the D staff, not just him, but Mike Mickens and Chris O'Leary, they've had more time to just strictly prepare for Oklahoma State's offense. And I would be doing a disservice to our defense if I said, nope, we're doing exactly what I say. I'm the one that's going to call it. I'm the one that's going to do it, because I haven't had as much time to prepare for Oklahoma State's offense as those guys have. And so I think this gives our group a better opportunity to have success. That's why I made this decision, is that, hey, these guys have spent more time preparing for Oklahoma State than I have in terms of just our defense versus their offense. So let's let those guys, those individuals, and specifically Mike Elston, have the opportunity to call it. And again, I'm going to be involved. I'm going to make sure to be, hey, if I want something, I'm going to say, hey, let's do this. If I don't like something, I'll interject, say, let's do this. But he will be the primary play caller for this game.
Coach Pete Sampson just texted. He's on the runway at O'Hare, so he's not enjoying the same sort of weather that we have here. But he asked if you could ask who Marcus relied on for organizing bowl prep, using Cincinnati's plan last year, Jim Tressel, or just use what Notre Dame has used in the past?
All three. I looked at the way the practice schedule we already had set. Coach Kelly had already kind of had a practice schedule set. So I looked at that. I've looked at what we've done this year. You know, the big thing I got from Coach Kelly was the use of technology, the use of GPS system, the use of numbers. So I've been using that really hand in hand with our head strength coach, Matt Bayless. And then I used some of Cincinnati stuff. You know, I looked at the 2 years, the 3 years we prepared for Georgia, we prepared for Boston College, we prepared for Virginia Tech. And I kind of took some of those ideas. And then obviously I leaned most, you know, hand in hand or voice to voice, opinion with Coach Tress in terms of things that just ran things by him. You know, Coach Fickle's obviously extremely busy getting ready for Alabama, and Coach Kelly, I'm sure, is pretty busy down at LSU. But the guy that I was leaning on the most in terms of, hey, day-to-day operations and things that I hadn't had across my desk before was Coach Tressel. So I've used all three and kind of come up with what I feel is best for our team to be ready for this game.
All right, Coach, from Len Clark from Dublin City FM Irish 101. What will be the main point of emphasis for your practice here in Arizona?
I want to go now. Like, I want to get off this plane. I told these guys that we can't have 4 days off. You know, I want to get out there today, and we're going to go run around, and it's not going to be a walkthrough. We're going to have a good practice today, and to get some of that lactic acid out of their legs and make sure, hey, we're ready to go. And then, you know, tomorrow's going to be a big day. Tuesdays of game weeks is huge in terms of the physical aspect of it, but also, you know, the mental aspect of getting ready for Oklahoma State. Wednesday will be more specific in terms of third down, in terms of red zone, in terms of 2-minute offense and defense. And so the preparation of Tuesday's practice and Wednesday's practice, those won't change. No matter where you're at, usually a lot of Tuesdays are going to be similar, a lot of Wednesdays are going to be similar. But today, to me, it's a big focus. Today, being able to say, let's go out here for an hour and a half and have a really, really good practice is what I'm most focused on right now, and I'm excited to get to it.
All right, Coach, we're going to finish up with one last question from Matt Freeman, who asked, what makes Jordan Patelo effective at the Rover position, and is that a permanent move for him? That's
a move for right now. We will kind of dive in and see if that's the best for his future after the season. But, you know, he's able to play out there in space, be disruptive. He's athletic as heck, where he can cover guys man to man, but then, you know, on the perimeter screen games and perimeter running games, he's a disruptive factor. And so, you know, we looked at more so the fact that Foskey and Justin have done such a good job at that Viper position, you know, and Jordan being a third Viper versus, hey, being able to rotate at the Rover position. He's going to have more impact being able to be on the field a little bit more at the Rover position and the impact he can make at that position. So his future is to be determined, but I know for this game that I'm excited for him to help us at the Rover position.
Well, Coach, thank you for your time. Welcome to Arizona. Good luck this week in your preparation. We'll see you on Friday morning here at 8:30 for your press conference, and then on Saturday morning, 11 o'clock for kickoff between number 5 Notre Dame and number 9 Oklahoma State. Thank you, Coach, very much.